There's a book written by a psychologist that's responsible for helping people regain wasted time from things such as doomscrolling and giving them the reminder to start living life now.
This is the natural default, is to let the past determine the present and then to let the present determine our approach to the future. This has huge consequences.
You're reading it and reading it again. What I learned helped me feel less stuck in now my mid-20s. And the theme around this book is centered around your future self. So what are the lies, what are the truths, and what are the practical ways we can start being them now? And being disconnected from your future self is what leads you to make sporadic and unthoughtful short-term decisions. This reminds me of a movie that actually came out in 2011 called In Time, where in their society, money wasn't the currency, but time was.
That'll be 8.5 weeks.
Take a week for yourself.
Thanks.
Once you hit the age of 25, your time starts ticking down. Those in the lower class or the lower time zones never had more than 24 hours to their name, whereas those in the higher class or the higher time zones could live for years on end.
When you've been 25 for 85 years like I have, and knowing only a random act of violence can take your life, you learn to appreciate what you have.
Those in the lower time zones made sporadic decisions, things that would only get them to be alive for the next day, such as keeping their focus on getting to work to make it just in time for the next day. But once the time runs out, they're dead. This was a sobering thought, reading about and learning about that movie in this book. The day's focus needs an adjustment, and that truly, it's really not just about today. And any little time drainers, such as scrolling or consuming mindless content, nothing that's feeding me or my soul, wasn't gonna add any value to my time. To be my future self now, the question I'd ask, and the question that Benjamin poses in this book, is who do you wanna be 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years from now?
So this is what you want, is you want to let the future determine what you do in the present.
Now, the truth about your future self, though it may be common sense, is that it's better to fail as your future self than can continue to succeed as your current self. I mean, think about it. Major athletes, whether in the NBA, tennis, whatever sport, the best of the best, to get better, train against people who are better than them.
If you're evolving in that art, you're only playing against people who are at your level or better if you're growing. If you're always playing down, then you're not improving.
But for comfort, and maybe for ego's sake, it's only those who stayed stagnant who would only train against people at their same level. But those who became pros and those who became better time after time were those who constantly pushed themselves by putting themselves up against people who were better than them. For myself, my master opponent wasn't a person, but a trait. Consistency, being consistent, putting my work and my art out there such as this consistently, because it was comfortable not, showing up whenever I wanted, and, if something succeeded, it's fine because I wasn't obligated to anyone or anything. But now that I'm obligated to my future self, I'd rather fail trying to be them now, and that every single rep that I'm putting in is actually helping me get closer to who they are. But let's move on, because it was actually the last section of this book that showed me how to practically be your future self now. And that is to schedule your future self in your calendar and commit to putting out imperfect work consistently. Something that Benjamin constantly kept harping on in this book was putting out work consistently. Not masterpieces, but constantly shipping out, because it's that will actually get you to creating better and better pieces of work, the kind of work that you know that your future self is capable of making. And to actually schedule that into your calendar before the urgent tasks, the things that keep you so short term in today and today only. That book you wanted to write it before work. That product you want to make, work on it before the day's appointments and endless meetings. And I reflected on my own art, the music that I've put out over the years, and most of it is bad. But in this consistency of putting out songs, there were a few good ones that I was actually surprised with.
Keep on, keep on, keep on.
But if I hadn't have committed to that process of consistently shipping out, I don't think I would have ever made those songs. So the solution to bad art isn't to stop creating, but to keep creating even more. It reminds me of something that Ed Sheeran mentioned.
You view it as a dirty tap. When you switch a dirty tap on, it's going to flow water out for a substantial amount of time, and then clean water is going to start flowing, and now and then you'll get a bit of but as long as it gets out of you, it's fine. So with songs, you're going to write songs at the beginning. My songs were terrible. My raps were terrible. Like, I've listened to it the other day, it was awful. But I got it out of me, and the more and more you write, the more and more you experience, and then you start flowing clean water, and songs start getting better and better and better.
So have I hit peak perfection? Absolutely not. But what this book has done has really changed my mindset, and I almost feel like I'm a computer and I got a new software update, specifically with scheduling my future self into my calendar before the day starts pulling at me with work and meetings and things of that nature. And that the work that I'm doing in that moment before is what's going to pull my future self closer and closer to me. That I'm not working for my current self and who I know I am today, but that the work that I'm scheduling in the mornings and working on is for my future self. I really enjoy this book, and practically I've documented what that looks like working for my future self in this video right here. So please check it out. And I know this book will definitely be a blessing to you, but nevertheless, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.